Okay, hey, hello. We are live. This is the OSCEdays, the Open Source Circular Economy Days 2015, and this is the interview with CAIRO. And I am Lars.
I'm Alice.
I'm Sam. Yeah. And we are now live with Hazem, one of the local organizers in CAIRO. Hey, Hazem, how are you?
Good, good. How are you? I just use an earplug, so
Okay.
yeah, that's much better because I'm still in the hackerspace. And
Tell us a little bit about your event. Where is it? And how many people have attended?
yeah, it was a bit low scale actually. Not a lot of people attended. Um, Yesterday it was in it's different places. Like each day had a different place. So yesterday there was like a theater group about connections between circular economy, open source, and the theater. Um, we were only like 5 people discussing it. Not no one from the open source hardware actually showed up. It was a bit of the problem because formulating the challenge was a bit broad. It wasn't focusing on one specific problem that was not clear for the open source hardware people. But there was like an economist and journalist who actually work on like putting all his work in a Creative Commons license. Discussion went to why actually open source. Like it was more of why open source, how to use the licenses, and it was more into this way. We actually came to a conclusion actually that better people, even the people working on open source, they call open source movies or open source documentation, don't actually include open source hardware people. It was one of the challenges. Even like the guy from who had the challenge, he runs like a theater festival in Alexandria, a big one. Um, he's open to try an experiment with theater and changing the stage and the production, but still the two languages are not coincide. They are not resonating with each other. This was one of the challenges. So we talked about how to bring different audience and how to. We wanted to prototype the theater production, but it wasn't successful because mainly it was from the artistic scene more, not from the production scene. This was yesterday. Today also, like just a group of 5, it was in the hackerspace.
Stop before you go to the next place. I
Yeah.
think Sam has a question.
I was wondering if maybe you can tell us a little bit about the challenge. I know that today you're working on the Voodoo Water Challenge and the repurposing of urban waste, and I think they're both challenges that are particularly special to CAIRO and to I'm interested to hear how they went and what kind of participants you had and what kind of solutions you came up with in those two challenges today.
Yeah. Today, not really also worked as expected. But yeah, we're in a CAIRO hackerspace. I can show you the space a little bit. Um, the water thing actually it was cancelled because the main engineer working at it couldn't attend, but we were talking with other people working with water on synchronized water fountains. So they already have the control system done, but this is more high tech for the Voodoo challenge that we're aiming for because it's a very expensive solution. And yeah, the waste, the recycling, we just talked about how to recycle plastic bottles and how to build with them. I can show you some pictures on.
That'd be great.
Yeah, but I can't find it now. But just a second. It's a group of people working on they're working on a zero waste home, but they make composting and stuff, but they have the problem of structuring these plastic bottles. Just a second. But this is a photo from their space. Okay, how can I share a photo?
What time is it in Cairo right now?
Same time as here.
Yeah, but it's dark.
It's much darker, huh?
Yeah, it's nice now, but at the same time.
Green sky right now. Grau.
Here it's already night. I'm trying to share the photo, actually.
What were you trying to achieve today with the repurposing of urban waste? What was the idea behind the challenge?
Sorry, I can't hear that.
What was the idea behind the challenge today? Your repurposing of urban waste. What did you want to achieve with it? What did you set out to solve?
The challenge owner is like they're already trying to with their home to make it zero waste. So the challenge was how actually to go forward with it and how to make it more popular to be used, because already the recycling culture in homes are not that popular, because there's not even like a sorting of garbage and anything. So in order to do that, you need to have a.
Your microphone is off. Now it's back.
Okay, now.
Hazem?
Yes, now you can hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you
Okay.
explain a bit about the waste management system in Cairo? I think there have been a couple of articles about that in the New York Times, also in Germany now, also during the political crisis, that I think the system is run by Coptic Christians, and then there were political repression. And can you maybe explain a bit about that? Is that true, what we're hearing here from the media?
Do you know something about it?
Yeah. It's actually most of the articles were like happening. Were true, like getting the real thing in Cairo. Mostly there was an informal scene run by mostly Coptic Christians. They have their own space where they recycle waste, which they are very efficient in it. And it's a huge production. Yeah. It's an industry which is a bit centralized in Cairo. Even like the waste from other place cities is transported to Cairo to be done in this, to be recycled in this area, and then they just some of them exported and some is reused. They used to recycle organic waste, but now they started back again. But when the swine flu was there and the government decided to kill the pigs, so there was no organic waste recycling. And there's lots of trials with biogas in the area and outside of the area. In rural Egypt also, lots of trials with composting with biogas. The thing is, it's a bit expensive also as a initial cost. So it's either if it's subsidized, it works. If it's not subsidized, it's hard to initiate it.
You know the guys from ICE Cairo?
Yeah, they make already some workshops, and actually some guys are already like starting to go to rural places and make this composting.
And I know that you said you didn't, you weren't able to work on it today, but I
Yeah.
think that the Voodoo project the interesting one, and maybe it's something you might want to tell people about or explain the particular problem you're trying to solve, because maybe people might be interested in getting involved, at least online, or sharing some kind of information, or sharing some kind of perspective on it. Can you
Yeah.
explain a little bit what that project is about?
Okay, the main cycle is not there is no separation from the source. Okay, it's all in one place and gets separated in the area itself. And it's done informally, but now the collections, there is this tension between private companies and informal collectors in everywhere, actually, not only in Cairo, because it's somehow competing in the same market, and informal collectors can get to the places where the big trucks can't. So already people, or even people like paying for the company, but in these places, but also paying for the informal collectors who come and get the garbage. So this is one point. There are some trials in but not, it's outside of Cairo also to have like a recycling factory from the private company. But it was mainly the company was initiated from an NGO, so it was a bit tricky actually the situation there. But again, in the end, the cycle isn't really a cycle. Like even in the separation happens, and they compress it and sell it again. It's not going back to the market. Not all of it. And people at homes don't care about actual separation, like, or not don't care about recycling. So the main challenge here was how to put it in the homes in the urban environment, and how to use the roofs in composting. They're still working on it. Some are actually like the one that I need to show the picture. Already started working on it. But again, it's not. I think here it comes the open source. They don't document well actually. This was a trial to make a good documentation for it. Maybe put it on GitHub or Instructable to see how they work, and maybe share it with others, because till now they're progressing, but in a very low pace. Like we've been working for 6 months, and composting is working, but construction is a plastic waste. It's not that efficient. So this was the main idea. The electronic waste is not that common to use. Only in hacker spaces people are concerned with it. And there is a small company called Recyclepedia, which is trying to recycle electronic waste, which is a small startup also. But it's gaining more momentum at the moment, but it's still new. It still needs some development.
Do you think that awareness raising could help there with this issue a little bit?
It could, but we were discussing that it needs some economic benefit for individuals. Like they need to see a financial benefit at least, because there is no need for them to do that. It's not a necessity, and to be honest, Cairo isn't also that. Like if you talk about dirty, it's not that for people it's easy, and it's not that it's livable. So it's not an issue. But if there is an economic benefit, it will happen.
Okay.
But again, it's hard because there are already lots of contracts between the government and private companies, so it's hard to enter the market actually.
And your event, the whole event ends today, or will you continue some of the work tomorrow?
No, tomorrow is the final gathering actually. It will be in another co-working space. The co-working space actually runs on the principles of gift economy and reducing consumption. So, okay, they pay rent, of course, but in order to have a space, so you maybe don't pay, you pay what you can and help with other stuff that should be done in the space, like cleaning the place, like putting some furniture. So it works like this, and they're trying to raise, to push it more in a mainstream practices.
That's really interesting.
And they also,
because there are similar challenges in other cities around this issue as well. For example, in London, they work on this, in the Marines too. Is there something in the forum about this challenge? So we can connect you there with the other cities?
Yeah, I think Uli, the one who runs the co-working space, posted a small description. But just a second, I'll get it. But hopefully, yeah, tomorrow will be documented. But gift economy, I think. Yeah. And I think she put actually more information on the Facebook page, so I need to copy and paste to rewrite it. Like, just a second. But they're running for this way, and they also like reduce their consumption to the minimum. Like if you enter the space, there's always like plastic stuff just put in boxes in order to be reused somehow. So and they consume yeah, less in everything. Like it's more of a way of working. Yeah. Okay, I can share my screen because I can't share a photo. So, yes.
Share screen.
So this is about the plastic reusing. Yeah,
So what's
Nice.
this?
yeah. They cut it into two pieces and like put each one back to back in order to have a junction. And then with drilling machines, they just poke a hole on the same side of the cap. This is a one layer thing, so it's linked with a pole. But they have another one with two layers, so it's somehow standing. It could work as a standing wall, but still, like they're trying to experiment with it, and in the curves, they're trying to experiment with curves. So this was the plastic ones. Okay. So how is it going? Like, what about the Stockholm event? Because I didn't get the documentation of it, but did they work on? Because the theater thing was interesting to go with, but it was an interesting discussion. But I would like it could have been gone into more practical stuff. So how did it go? Or, I can't hear.
Adam, it might be that we have to stop the call very soon because it starts raining here and we're sitting outside with a computer. So don't be shocked when we are gone immediately.
Do you think there's a possibility of continuing the discussion and turning it into something more practical? Do you think you can continue working on this, or what's your plan for after this weekend?
Yeah, I think definitely it should be continue working on it. Actually, like at least from my vision for the Cairo event, um, it was like in different places and still in different places, so this was a bit confusing for people. But the people who showed up actually showed interest in the idea of open source itself, and some people were actually new for the idea and they want to experiment with it.
Cool.
So I think it should go on, but the form is needed to be, and I think this is from my side, needed to be a bit Egyptianized in the language. Like this was actually a challenge in even the people working on the. Today, actually, I met people in the hackerspace. They are working on virtual reality cardboard. Okay, so they make a virtual reality device from cardboard, and they're making also a fab lab in Mansoura, which is outside of Cairo. But they have also the same challenge of Egyptianizing the name of the parts because they already got the content from online, and in order to find the spare part, it takes time because it has another name or it's used in another thing, you know.
Okay. Hazem, I fear we have to stop the call because this is the Berlin heaven now. It's gray because it starts to rain very heavily. And we have to rescue our computers,
We have to
okay?
run.
So it was nice talking to you. Thank you for the event, and we stay connected in the forums and for future stuff, okay?
Okay.
Keep the good work going.
Keep the good work going.
And stay connected on the forum.
Bye.
Sure, bye.
Yeah.